Morning, everybody. It's garbage day. Good morning, John. Hello, Hyon? Hyon? I know I'm mispronouncing it. Hyon? Maybe? Hmm. Good morning. Welcome to Morning Medley number 202. My finger doesn't hurt as much in this stream, but it's still not quite better yet. It is garbage day, though. What do I have planned? Nothing really. Nothing really. All my days have been the same. Alpha. I wake up, I work out, I stream, then I eat. Or in the case of today, I woke up a lot earlier than usual, so I actually ate a waffle before I started the stream. That's why there's no smoothie. I usually stream, then eat, and then work until I don't know, like 5:30, and then do something that's not work around 5:30, 6 o'clock. Whether that's watch a movie or watch random stuff on TV or um, take a walk, go get boba or something like that. And then in the evenings, I will work again until I get sleepy, and then I'll go to bed. And so that's probably what's going to happen today. Sick Nick says that's not bad things to have a schedule. Working on getting my own routine together, it's difficult. It can be difficult. If I'm being honest, Sick Nick, the stream does help reinstill some type of schedule or routine. There are certain things in my day-to-day life that I have to do by certain times, right? Like I have to stream at 9 o'clock, so it forces me to move things either before 9 or after 9. Like I'll work out before 9, I'll make my smoothie before 9, then I'll work on music after 9. Today I also have to pay a parking ticket, so that's new, I guess. So on my evening walk, I'll probably go to City Hall and pay my parking ticket. Yeah, it should be chill. What's on your plate today, Alpha? By the way, guys, that song is called Clover Salad. get good sleep? Sick Nick? Um, Cyber mentions that I did get out yesterday. Yeah, I went to the park yesterday. It was chill. Lots of people at the park. A lot of people at the park. Hadn't seen that many people in one place in a very long time. Um, it was chill. It was actually a really cool night. It's been kind of warm here lately, so it was nice to spend a cool night out. Yeah, yeah, no need to worry about me, Alpha. Well, that's good to hear, Signet. Yeah, a breeze can be nice. Make the difference between a horrible day and a good day. Yeah, yeah, we can do 202. Yeah, that was a version of Bon Bon Alpha. Funky Cool Medina. What the heck? I actually made a Funky Cool Medina joke yesterday because I was talking to a friend about Ace Ventura, the movie Ace Ventura. 202 is also an organ. the 200s that I prefer is the weird drawboard one. Where is it? It's oh, it's just gone. Whoa. Oh, this one, this one, this one. It wasn't 200s, it was 198. I like that one a lot. Here, it's up, Kid James. Oh, crap. Oh my god, what the heck? I lost it. I mean, it's the same. I guess those are the same chords as Gucci Gang, anyway. Well, not really. Yeah, it is. Yeah, yeah. Interesting. Very interesting. Wow. Okay. Oh my god, that's wild. Oh. Hmm. But, but, oh. That's too much, I think. Oh, it's not. It's not. Uh. Ah. Dang it! What the heck? Okay. I have to figure out a way to like keep it in the middle so it doesn't go down too low or something. Good morning, Liana. Welcome to the stream. Good morning, Jaime. Good morning, Umbe. Good morning, anybody who I missed coming in. Welcome to Morning Medley number 202. I haven't done the medley yet. I might not do one this. I might just fiddle around this stream. Um, Especially now that I have this weird like Franken progression. Weird Frankenstein progression. Wrong, but close. You can request a Midnight Drift too. Absolutely. Wait, can you? Yeah, I think so. I think I know how to play that. I think I can remember. I might have to like figure it out on the fly actually. I like that. Don't know what that was. What if instead of going here, if you did that? So you I might have to mess around with that corporation more when I have like some percussion underneath it. Is your finger flow any better? Oh wow! I guess some of you guys came in after I mentioned that. Sever might have been away for a second. Yeah, so my finger does feel a little bit better today. It was the first thing that I talked about in the stream. Feels a little bit better. It still hurts, you know, when pressure is applied to it, but it's significantly better than it was yesterday. I could probably, I could probably play like Flight Plan with it, for sure. I wonder if I'm ever gonna take Midnight Drift 2 out of live sets. It's such a fun song to play. Garbage truck's here. Midnight Drift 2. I wish I remember the chords from Midnight Drift 1. I would like to try to make a medley out of... Oh, by the way, guys, my crank broke. For my window. Remember when I was all excited because the guy came and gave me a crank for my window? Because I was upset that everything always breaks in my apartment? Well, it's broken, so... It was nice while it lasted. What was that? What was it, guys? 3 weeks? 4 weeks? Oh, glad scratch the wall. Oh, glad to hear you're healthy quickly. Thanks, Sick Nick. I appreciate that. I'm feeling pretty healthy. Yeah, not even a full month. Oh, whoa. Junebug, Junebug, Junebug. Why do they like specifically landing on my windows? It's like they know. It's like they know I'm in here. Sorry, anyway. I'm waiting for the garbage truck to pass for the most part. Oh, he's knocking him over. He's knocking him over. Yeah, man. I used to be so like I would never put out I would never put out a song today that has the chords. Like I just wouldn't do that today. But why not? Go away. Why are you on my window? I would never do that today, but I think that the fact that I did do that made like such a great Midnight Drift 2, for anybody that hasn't heard it, it's a very solid song. It's very solid. Solid as a rock. Hold on. Let me make sure that the song exists. What does... That's what this love is. Oh, it is on Spotify. Okay, so like, whatever. It is on Spotify. Go listen to Midnight Drift 2 if you haven't heard it. Cyber knows what I'm saying. Oh. Oh. You're doing the car commercial one. Why is it doing that? Solid as a rock. That's what this love is. Oh, word up. Our trash man synced up. Solid as a rock. Oh, he's leaving. No, he's not. Look at my guy. Pretty much for the past, like, 4 days, these guys keep landing specifically, like, on my screen. Sometimes they'll land on my screen and freak out. And I don't know exactly what they want, but they'll just do that. They, like, crawl up, and then they'll turn around, and then they'll crawl back down. And then they'll do a 180 again, and they'll start crawling back up the thing. What is he... I don't know what he wants, though. But it'll keep doing that for, like, several minutes. And then it'll finally fly away, but it doesn't really... If I'm sure if I didn't have the screen on, she would be inside here with me. Because back when I had my screen off last year, June bugs used to, like, fly in to my room. And, like... I feel like they were getting stuck or something because they wouldn't leave. Sometimes they would just stay in here until they died, which was kind of sad. Solid as a rock. That's what this love is. Okay, I do like this chord progression. what it was is Kit came into the stream and I was gonna start playing Reflection Pool. But instead, for whatever reason, I went, which is wrong. But if I transpose it down. I like chord progressions that just kind of keep. Oh, now he's on the bottom. Now he's upside down. What do you want? You gotta chill, dude. Not letting you in here today. Not today, baby. I don't think we got. I don't think we get cicadas in California. Maybe super rarely. Oh, he's gone. Says Leanna. What? Oh, okay. I mean, we definitely do in Southern California, but maybe it's because like Arizona gets a lot of them. Maybe it has something to do with Arizona's proximity to. What do you want, bro? I don't get it. Sorry. Do we have like a? Do we have a like a bug expert in the stream? It's like specifically the edge of my window, and it's not just this one. It's like all day, no matter what angle I. Even if I have my window completely closed, they'll like land on the edge, and then they'll walk up it, and then turn around and walk down it. This one literally left, flew into the cul-de-sac, and then came around, and now he's doing the same thing again, up and down on the thing. You get it, whatever. Maybe like yeah, maybe there's like something on the windows. Maybe there's something like in the paint of the window or something. I'm not trying to make this a boring stream. Let's get to music stuff. Let's get to music stuff. So. The new chord progression being this one, 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 this one. Do you as an artist find yourself stuck in kind of like a, stuck sounds a little negative, but you find yourself riding in a groove where like if you play one chord, I mean as a musician this is more specific, but like you play one chord and you just kind of naturally play another one after it, which leads you to this natural third chord that you usually go to. I'm trying to break some of those habits, but for right now, whenever I play this chord, my hands just kind of gravitate to this chord and then down to this chord, and I don't know what that like theoretically is. I don't know what that chord progression means, but I'm trying to not do that so much. So often do I do that. Not in any of the songs that I've actually released or anything, but a lot of times in improvs when I'm like messing around. I mean, this one. Like in that one. Same thing. I'm trying to at least get a little bit out of that hole, but it's rough. It's rough. I stay in C chords for whatever reason, says Umbe. You stay in the C chords. Oh, like chords in the key of C? Is that what you mean? I have like 4 go-to progressions, says Sky, and it's hard to find new ones. I think, bro, you gotta chill. You're gonna die in there. I'm gonna close my window and I'm gonna squish you. I'm gonna forget you're there. I don't, yeah, that is a thing, right? It's rough. I don't necessarily have, like, specific go-to progressions, but I definitely, like, 100%, some chords lead to others in an improv, um, that just makes sense to me. And I think this happens to basically everybody. There's a lot of, like, talk about jazz musicians that will play very typical jazz progressions. So much so that they have, like, numbers that go with them, like a 5-6-7 or a 4-5-1 or whatever. And maybe this is one of them, actually. Maybe that's one of them. I don't know. But I think I'm breaking out of that slowly. Every time I notice me moving out of that, it's because I've discovered a new chord. Or, like, the example I use for that a lot is the chord that I was calling the K drum chord. That one. I was I like that chord played like that. It doesn't even necessarily need to be in progression. And then once I figured out that that chord could be put into a progression, it kind of mixed up a lot of my progressions. So instead of having like the, I would throw it in the middle of there or in the beginning. So instead of going, I would go, which is already enough to kind of make it. But yeah, having newer chords always helps. Um, I had to get a wrist brace for my carpal tunnel. Oh, I can't play fast octave arpeggios anymore without pain. Yikes! Yikes! I hope for a successful recovery. That's what a nightmare. I smashed my finger up pretty bad, and it happened to be my index finger. Part of me, actually, I was like, okay, if it's your index finger, a lot of people think of index finger as like, oh, if you hurt that one, that's like the main finger. But something I realized after I messed up my index finger was like, yeah, it does hinder a lot of my ability to play. But what really I use a lot is thumb and pinky. Thumb and pinky are kind of like maybe I don't want to say the most important, but like thumb and pinky or thumb and ring finger. These two fingers, my index and middle finger, they are used a lot too. But it's like they're usually not hitting the important notes, whatever that means. Um, so yeah, it's I hope for a recovery for me for that because I know just we're losing my index finger, which I haven't even lost it. It's still there. It's just very weak and it's in incessant pain. But like even just that, ooh, sorry. Anyways, even just that like hindered my playability yesterday quite a bit. Where are you at? You still there, man? You gotta chill, dude. I wish I could move my window. I wish. I wish everything in this apartment didn't break every 2 seconds. This song is called. I don't know. We're still waiting on a name for it. Good morning, Isidore. That's so cool. That's exciting. I like men. I'm doing okay, Isidore. How's your Tuesday going? chat. Hey, I remember that song. Sick Nick. No, okay, no, Isidore, that was not the song. Okay, you sent me the song Take Five. You sent me. You sent me. That's what you sent me. And what I was talking about was Blue Rondo a la Turk, which goes. It's a different song. It's a different song. Oh, it's such a good song. I love that song. It sounds like something from Final Fantasy. That's the song that I was talking about. Take Five is a classic jazz standard. It is a classic jazz standard. I am not a fan of it. Not because it's a bad song, but because I'm just so tired of it. I feel like that is the song. That is the song where somebody was like, want jazz? Here's Take Five. We have a commercial for a grocery store, but we want it to look fancy. Just play Take Five in the background. But don't play any of the cool, interesting parts of the song. Just play that one part of the song that play. What? Take Five? Take Five's like actually a really long song. I think that song's like 6+ minutes. But whenever anybody wants to play Take Five, they play just. It's like not. It's not. It's almost like it reminds me of Beethoven. You know, Beethoven songs are all over the place, but usually people will play like the same 10 seconds, the most recognizable 10 seconds, which happens to be for me the maybe the least interesting 10 seconds. I don't know. Okay, anywho, my father always plays that Dave Brubeck song, and I didn't know the name. Oh, really? Wow. Your dad sounds cool. Wait, Take Five or Blue Rondo a la Turk? I guess he's cool either way, yeah. He's still there. What are you doing, bro? Blue Rondo. Oh, okay, yeah, your dad sounds cool then. Your dad got the taste. I remember. Okay, so a history lesson on me and Blue Rondo a la Turk. If you don't know the song Blue Rondo a la Turk, it's okay actually. It would be cool for the sake of the anecdote I'm about to give, but if you don't know the song, it's absolutely fine. I understand. Not a lot of people listen to jazz music, and the ones that do don't really listen to like jazz music like that. They'll listen to, I don't know. Anywho, hi Diz, how you doing? So the first time I ever heard Blue Rondo a la Turk wasn't because I was digging through like jazz vinyls or something like that. The first time I heard Blue Rondo a la Turk is in the movie Wedding Crashers. So when I was, I want to say 15, 16, too young to see a rated R movie in Arizona, that's for sure. I remember paying for a ticket to see, I don't know, Shrek or something, you know, what kids do, and then sneaking into the theater to see Wedding Crashers. God, I hope I'm getting this story right. I don't actually remember when this was or how old I was, but I definitely was not old enough to see Wedding Crashers. So I paid to go see Wedding Crashers, or I paid to go see some kid movie, then I snuck into Wedding Crashers, which was cool, and I liked the movie a lot. There was boobs in it, which was a big deal for me. Yeah. Oh, also my student counselor was in the movie. Not in the movie, sorry, wow. My student counselor was in the movie theater, and I actually was a little paranoid afterwards. I was like, oh man, she definitely knows I snuck into this theater. But then I realized, like, after the fact, like, nobody cares. Nobody really cares. That woman did not care about me at all. Not even a little bit, which is kind of funny because she was a student counselor. I'm getting sidetracked. Anyways, I went to go see Wedding Crashers, and there's, like, literally, like, I want to say it's, like, a 5-second scene, maybe 10 seconds. I'm pushing it to say that this scene was 10 seconds. Um, but there's a scene where they establish, it's like at a wedding party or something like that, a reception. There's an establishing shot of the wedding party, and they play 10 seconds of Blue Rondo a la Turk. Definitely not making this up, but I remember even as a teenager seeing that scene and not really thinking much of it, and just being like, wedding music or whatever. And then and then going back and watching that movie several times because I was a big fan of the movie. I think I've seen that movie maybe 10 times, 9 or 10 times. But going back and watching it on several repeats, you know, you do the thing that any kid does where you start to memorize the lines, you memorize the scenes, you memorize how things are delivered, you memorize like the lighting. The movie just becomes cemented in your head. Another song from that movie was Mungo Jerry's in the summertime. That song kind of got cemented in my head, not because I was listening to it out in the world, but because I was watching this movie over and over and over. So I was memorizing only the little piece of the song that they would play in the movie. And later on, when I ended up getting like more into math rock and stuff like that, I remember watching that movie again and hearing it like, and just being like, wow, that's a weird song. Like timing wise, that's a really weird song. But I didn't know what the name of the song was. This is gonna sound stupid. It's gonna make me sound stupid, but that's okay. I'm okay with myself sounding dumb. I didn't know that anytime a song is played in a movie, it's in the credits. I honestly just didn't know that. I knew that like songs were like in movies and you could recognize them, but I didn't know that every single song, whether it's played for 3 seconds or 30 seconds, is going to show up in the credits. So I just never looked in the credits for it. Never was able to find that song. And then I remember, oh wow, I can't remember that guy's name. I can't remember his name, but he was a piano teacher, and he was doing like a, what I would say is like a TED Talk for the college that I was going to. He wasn't teaching music, but he was doing like he was speaking with the kids and he had a piano in front of him and he was doing basic like, you know, kind of like how I do, I guess, with less knowledge. Me being the one with the less knowledge. Hi, Eddie. He would do things where he would say like, you know, a lot of people don't realize this, but music has this in it. And he's like talking to people who aren't musicians. Then he would like play a little bit of something, and then he would play a little bit of something else. And he was like, most pop songs are made from these 4 chords. And he would play the 4 chords over and over while singing a variety of different songs over it. And all of the people that didn't know that much about music were going, oh, gee, golly, that sure sounds interesting. Like, wow, a lot of the same chords are reused. Who knew? Music sure is fascinating. A lot of people were saying things like that. And then he starts talking about how time signatures work. And he's like, this song's 4/4, this song's 3/4. And the only reason I know 3/4 today, or I know what 3/4 is because of this one conversation. It's not because I actually looked it up in a book. He was talking about how 3/4 was like a waltz time signature. And he was doing like... Whereas 4/4 would be... And when he... thank you, Eddie. And when he was talking about time signatures, he was talking about 4/4, they did 3/4, and then he kind of as like a professional piano player, jazz musician, was like, and then you can get some weirder time signatures like this one, and he did the he played Blue Rondo a la Turk, and I remember in my head going like, whoa, why do I know that song? Why do I know that song? I don't even listen to jazz. Why do I know what that song is? And so afterwards, I go up to him and I go, yo, what song were you playing? And it took a long time for me to get him to play this song because he was like, wait, this one, this one. And I was like, no, it was the like weird one. And I kind of hummed it to him. And he was like, oh, Blue Rondo a la Turk. And he plays Blue Rondo a la Turk. And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm like writing it down like on a scrap of paper. I'm like, I gotta go like YouTube this song or Google this song later because like I know that song from something and I need to like get to the bottom of this. Anyways, I ended up going back home and in my free time Googling the song, listening to the song, going like, well, this song's amazing. Figuring out then, after saying the song and its credits to what it was used in, Wedding Crashers coming up and me going, oh, I heard this song like years ago in a movie. And then, only after that, discovering that Dave Brubeck also made Take 5. And I was almost like blown away at the range. Because Take 5 was a song I did not like. Blue Rondo a la Turk is a song that I liked because it was so fast, cool, and complicated to me, to my brain. Take Five was pretty simple and boring to me. And so, even that early, seeing that artists that are capable of doing really complex and complicated things are still capable and wanting to do like simpler stuff because they know it can connect with a wider audience. For example, I'm talking about Blue Rondo a la Turk to the people in this stream, and I'm pretty sure maybe 10% of the people in here have actually heard the song I'm talking about, whereas the song Take Five, pretty much most of you guys have heard or know of Take Five, whether you know it's by Dave Brubeck or you know the name of the song is Take Five. If I played, a snippet of it, you'd be like, oh yeah, I've heard this somewhere. So, yeah, it's a I guess I was learning the lesson even back then that like you can be capable of really complex ideas, but sometimes practicing restraint and putting out something that is also very simple and easy to digest can, it can go further. It can go further. Uh, 5-4 is a pretty common time signature for stuff like that, says Cyber. Um, they're explaining it to Sky, the name of the song. Yeah. That's where the name comes from. Something between 1-1 and 12-12, if I have to guess, says Uwe. That's funny. I understood rhythm better thanks to the game Rhythm Paradise for Nintendo DS, says Eddie. Fascinating. I could list a long, tiresome list of people, myself included, that have learned very complex concepts about music from video games. Yeah, rhythm games are pretty good with that. Wow, yeah. I'm so glad we have like other ways to do it now. I'm glad like video games really did do that. Piano, especially chords, always sounds better to me in this range than it does anywhere else. Like if I'm gonna hit this, and then here, I always prefer it here. It just sounds richer, more rich. Isidora says I missed their message. I guess I did. I'm sorry. Doo-doo-ba-doo. Omni, have you watched the Amanda Palmer's TED Talk? I have not. I think the For Every Creator is such a must-watch. Her book is incredible, especially if you are an independent artist. No, I haven't really dug too much into TED Talks at all lately, honestly. I don't know. I don't know why. I guess that's up my alley, huh? Maybe I'll look into it. Amanda Palmer, huh? Hello, Chibi Lucy. So this is a discussion of video game OSTs. We're not talking about video game OSTs. That's not what we're talking about. Tool also has some pretty wild time signatures. So does A Perfect Circle, which is in some way connected to Tool. I don't really want to dig into how or why right now, but I will say that there's a lot of like concepts, not video game OSTs. We're not talking about the song specifically, Chibi Lucy. I'm saying concepts in music. As time goes on, there are more ways to learn these things, right? Visual ways. Like, people like to think about things on, like, a score sheet, traditionally. Things being, like, on a staff. But now that is not the only way to read music. Now we have things like MIDI that exist, and so you can do that. There's, like, guitar tabs that came even before... well, actually, guitar tabs... I don't know if they came before or after MIDI, but they're a newer form of, I want to say before. I want to say guitar tabs actually came out before MIDI, but... since the staff paper with score sheets, we have constantly come up with like more modernized or wider ways to understand and read music. Maybe they're not as fast or seen as efficient to other people, but I mean that's just that's how opinions work, right? Like you have to. Everybody's got an opinion, so I think video games, specifically Harmonix games like Frequency, Guitar Hero, amplitude, even though they weren't teaching you actually how to play an instrument. Like, I don't know of any guitar players that really internalized Guitar Hero songs and then was able to pick up an actual guitar and play those songs. But I think there is a lot of things. Um, but I think there's a lot of things that. I think there's a lot of like concepts within rhythm games. Even if you're talking about DDR, right? DDR isn't teaching you how to like play instruments at all, but DDR can teach you a lot about how songs are metered. I know that in DDR, there's you find the beat. I mean, you need to in order to be able to play those songs, to be able to understand where your feet are supposed to go. But there are some songs in DDR with weird time signatures, actually, and it does feel weird. Something feels weird about playing them because your body's like having to start a new meter in the middle of what your physical body is recognizing as a meter, you know. And so I think I think even then, like video games were able to teach me not necessarily how specific time signatures worked, but that how rhythm worked and how metering worked and how percussion worked because everything wasn't as simple as 4/4 as pop music would have me to believe. So yeah, I think we weren't necessarily talking about the OSTs or the songs specifically, but how video games can teach. And I mean, for this isn't just for music, obviously. Like I've said several times in the stream that I learned how to drive. I learned a lot of the basics of driving from the game Crazy Taxi, like how counter steering worked, um, just how reversing worked, and how like, especially for like a front wheel drive car. Anyways, it taught me a lot about angles and stuff like that in driving. And then when I got into an actual car, there was a lot of stuff that I learned while playing Crazy Taxi that I was able to apply immediately to the car. So I didn't have to like drive around a bunch real slow to figure out how the machine worked. And I think that if I didn't have that experience with video games, um, I'm not saying I wouldn't be able to drive today. Of course I would, but I'm just saying it would have been a little bit harder, even if just a tiny bit. Um, Cyber's talking about Hollick's time signature. Um, I'll always remember the mini game in Rhythm Paradise where it had to go on beat to off beat, where you have to go from on beat to off beat. Yeah, see, these things are important. Wow. This is making a Offspring joke because Crazy Taxi, for the people that haven't played it, features Offspring song. The soundtrack is one Offspring song and one Bad Religion song, I think. Hmm. My memory could be a little bit off. It was two punk songs. Who cares? For whatever reason, at the time, every video game thought that it needed to have like a punk rock soundtrack, and so there was Offspring and there was Bad Religion. Unfortunately, the Offspring song in Crazy Taxi came after I didn't like the Offspring anymore, so it didn't have it didn't hit the way it could have. Grand Theft Auto definitely helped me understand turning steering wheels in relation to position in cars' wheels. Yeah, Umbe, right? See, it does. It does help. And yeah, it just helps. Point is, it helps. I hope that makes sense to you guys. And so, as far as like concepts in music, I don't have the same vocabulary as somebody that has, taken a music course. But a lot of the concepts, instead of coming from a music class, have come from really weird, like real world experiences, like DJing. Even though I don't enjoy DJing really, it's not something that I enjoy at all. Power to the people that do enjoy DJing, though. I think DJing teaches you a lot about transience. Oh my god. Transience, guys? Let's talk about transience. No, let's not. But DJing teaches you about transience. It also teaches you a lot about BPM. BPM is a thing that not a lot of people think about, nor do they notice it. Really quick reminder that if you're in the stream and you like the stream, please remember to like the stream. I will get into some type of medley activity soon. But BPMs aren't something that people think about. If you ask an average person what the BPM is of their favorite song, they're probably not going to be able to tell you. Actually, if you just ask somebody on the street what a fast BPM is, what is a slow BPM, like what is hip hop BPM typically like, If you ask most people, they're not even going to tell you like a range within like 10 beats per minute because that's just not a thing that people think about, you know, and it shouldn't be, honestly. Um, so when you're DJing, you have to know BPMs of songs because one, if you're doing a lot of mixing, you're going to have to match those BPMs. If you're a DJ that likes having smooth transitions, you're going to be able to need to match the BPM of the two songs that you're mixing, and sometimes songs don't share BPM, so you're going to have to either make one faster or make one slower, or you're going to have a lot of your songs organized in your library by BPM, so you can gradually shift from one to the other over the course of your set. Um, Eddie says if you're trying to be a good DJ. I was trying not to say that, Eddie. I don't know if you caught up on that, but I was like, I almost said that, and I corrected myself. I didn't want, because some people just do not transition in their DJ sets. They just like kill a track and start a new track, and I mean, those people are making a lot more money than I am DJing. So, who am I to say what a good or bad DJ is? My favorite BPM is around 120, 130. Ooh, sick Nick. Ooh, you gotta come into the production streams. That's where all of my songs are right now. Literally in the middle of that. I'm making a song right now that's 130. The 5 songs I made before that were 125. 125 is kind of like my groove right now. I'll get out of it eventually, but right now that's where I am. It's just the sleeves. It's a visual trick of the sleeves, Dar. It's a visual trick. Um, you can play a Spotify playlist while scrolling through your Instagram feed. Says Eddie. This reminds me of a DJ app I used to have in high school. I would take 2 remixes of the same song and use the left and right slider to mesh them together. Word up is. Mixing in key is, oh, yeah, so when I was DJing, I would mix in key only because a friend of mine told me, like, the thing is, I would mix partially in key and then partially out of key because I just didn't have the key up there. And then somebody told me that if you run all your songs through this program, it'll add the key to the tag, like the ID tag of the song. And so I started doing that, mixing in key. Harmonic mixing is what it's often referred to as. 120 is the only BPM I know by heart, says Dar. Ooh, I like this. I like this. This is cool. All right, I need to go back down to 100, 110, but I'm still I'm still a sad boy. 100. A lot of Lush Dream songs are at 100. Like 80 to 100 is like the sweet spot for a lot of Lush Dream songs. Hip hop lies somewhere between 100 and 130 usually. Yeah, sometimes even lower than 100. I would say like high 80s, high 80s to yeah, like 120, 130. It's hard, right? Because hip hop has just gotten more and more diverse and vast as we've gone on through time. So now, you could technically have a hip hop song that's like 145, and I don't think anybody will bat an eye at it. Diz says, but it taught me about BPMs, and the whole mixing element made me realize how DJs actually did that. Exactly, right? Having to do something, having to do something, an activity that requires, a certain amount of knowledge is just going to subliminally teach you about it, right? Like, you're not really thinking about learning and memorizing BPMs while you're DJing, but then after DJing for a while, you kind of will feel where something is. Like, I can feel 120 to 130, typically. I can feel that BPM. Yeah, I can feel it. And that's not a thing a lot of people can do. I can also feel 180, 170. 170 to 190. But when I say I can feel 170 to 190, what I'm usually talking about is drum and bass, which actually means I can feel like 60 BPM, not 60, sorry. Wow, my math is off. That's embarrassing. I can feel like 80 BPM, 90 BPM. Because drum and bass is in halftime. We don't need to talk about halftime and full time right now. But basically, what I'm saying is video games taught me a lot about metering. Games like DDR taught me a lot about that, especially the game Frequency. Frequency taught me so much about arrangements. It taught me about layering. I'm not going to get into how. If you played that game, you understand. If you haven't played it, it's a PlayStation 2 game. Probably now isn't the best time to pick it up unless you just really that badly love rhythm games and want to explore Harmonix's back catalog. But yeah, they can teach you some pretty interesting concepts. And so I understand things like harmony, and I understand things like rhythm and layering and ensembles and arrangements, but not from traditional teaching or from traditional lessons. It's more so just from life experience. Mixing mixing at its core is like volume, right? A lot of people when they think of mixing, they think of volume, which is fair. If you think about a mixing board, if you guys have seen like mixing boards, it's like the big board with all the like faders on it. Um, Essentially, this is an oversimplification, but essentially all those different faders have a different instrument on them, and not everything is going to sound perfect together at the same volume. You got to turn some things down, you got to turn some things up, whatever. You have to mix things to make sure that they fit together in the song. There are sometimes, especially as somebody who makes music, I'm sure some of you in the stream that have made music, sometimes you'll hear a song and you will hear something that feels too loud or too quiet. You'll think, I would have turned that down. Maybe you're listening to like a Kanye song or something like that, and you're like, that hi hat is like really, it's very very loud. And I think that that's something that a lot of people don't think about unless they make music regularly. They don't think about whether something can be turned up or down. They're not really necessarily being too preoccupied with the mixing element of music. And that's something that I learned because, so all of you use Bye, Isidore. Thanks for being in the street. Jesus Christ. Oh, man. Christ. Alpha brings up the heart rate thing with heartbeat matching some songs. We Are Your Friends, that old EDM movie, kind of touched on that in a very funny way. Mixing can make or break a song, says Eddie. To me, at least. In MJ's Butterflies, I think the snare is way too loud and it makes me mad every time. That is so funny, Umbe. Okay, so here's the thing. I way too easily fall into a world. And what I mean by that is, like, you ever watch a movie? Have you guys ever seen movies? And he says, what are movies? They are moving pictures. Moving pictures. Movies. The moving pictures. So anyhow, if you've seen a movie, you've definitely seen some movie that was not realistic, right? Oh my god, you're a wizard, Harry. And everybody thinks, well, magic isn't real, but I'll keep watching anyway. I want to see where this goes. Turns out there's a lot of magic in the movie. Magic's real in the movie. You have fallen into the reality of this movie. I guess anything could happen in Hogwarts. So maybe anything can happen in Hogwarts. So let's get rid of the Harry Potter analogy. I can already see this burning as I'm trying to build it. Okay, so instead I'm going to use the analogy of the movie. Wow, have I seen any movies? Groundhog Day. Groundhog Day. We were kind of just talking about this. Eddie's racing me. Eddie's beat me to suspension of belief. Groundhog Day has magic in it, kind of, in that this man gets trapped in a loop of a day that happens. This isn't a spoiler, guys. It's literal. It's a very old movie. It's the only thing that anybody knows about that movie. So it's a time loop. It's a time loop movie. So once you're watching the movie, you're like, oh, cool, time keeps looping. I guess that's real in the case of this movie. But then, if like a Ninja Turtle came in and started like beating people up and talking, you'd be like, well, that doesn't feel right. Even though the movie is unrealistic, it has a sense of magic in it. Something about a tall, 6-foot anthropomorphic turtle talking to people still is like a little bit too much. Like, I can believe the time loop, but not the turtle. However, if you're watching Ninja Turtles, I feel like the things you're willing to accept in the Turtles universe is a lot wider because you're starting with talking turtles. Um, Men in Black, right? In Men in Black, there's like aliens, and so you're like, yeah, okay, I guess laser guns, aliens, special abilities, and stuff like that. I guess that makes sense. Um, but there are things that you could introduce in the world of Men in Black that aren't alien in origin. That would feel like, this is unrealistic. Even though you're watching a movie that's unrealistic. All movies to a certain degree are unrealistic because they're movies. But like Eddie says, your suspension of belief, your belief and faith in a movie can only be suspended so much before it is broken. And a lot of this has to do with movies' world building. If the movie takes place in a wizarding world, then all types of magic and stuff like that can happen. But some other things, maybe not so much. I think you guys get the point that I'm trying to make. So moving on from it before we get sidetracked, like Alpha talking about the Ninja Turtle movie, that was probably my first taste of turtles. Oh boy. Um, oh, interesting, Alpha. The most realistic movie. See, we're already getting sidetracked. Alpha's asking me the most realistic movie I've seen. I will answer that, but later, because I am doing a thing. So, the movie builds a reality, right? And then you live in that reality, and when something is introduced that doesn't fit the rules the movie has already established, then it feels wrong. When I listen to a song, I very quickly enter the reality of the song. And if I'm listening to the song and everything is really distorted, like a artist that I feel like I've mentioned enough in the stream, so I'm not gonna mention right now. But if I listen to a song and everything's really distorted and it's redlining and it's peaking and it's like crunchy and poorly mixed, I will go, oh, this is the world I'm living in. I'm living in a world where things are very distorted, overdriven, peaking, and poorly mixed. So then I just listen to the song at that point and I go, maybe it's not for me. These lyrics are like this, blah, blah, blah. And so I think that is why, like, I hear you guys, and I believe you guys when you're like, yo, this song, this iconic song, the snare is too loud, and that's all I can think about. I hear you guys because if you let me listen to the song, I would probably even agree with you and go, yeah, that's a loud snare, that's a pretty loud snare. But when I'm entering somebody else's creation, usually I will accept the world that they've built, and then I will just go off of, instead of the merits of the production or mixing or whatever, I just go off of like what the song or piece of art is trying to translate to me. And this isn't kind of like a holier than thou, like elitism thing where I'm like, I appreciate art. Because sometimes this can, what's the word? Compromise me. Sometimes I feel compromised because I can watch a movie, like when Homegirl was watching Zombies 1 and 2, that Disney film. Those movies are horrible, but about 10 minutes into it, it's like, okay, all right, well, let me hear more about the zombie. Oh, wow, there's werewolves in this movie too? So, what's her name? And I just kind of get invested. They built a world. The world is stupid to me, but I'm like, okay, if you build a stupid world, at least be consistent in your stupid world. And I gotta say, the stupid world that zombies creates, it's pretty consistent. And so, I don't know. It makes me an unreliable source, which is why usually when people are just like, was this a bad song or was this a bad movie or something like that? Usually, like I can jokingly say like that was a horrible trash movie, but it's like I did watch it and I enjoyed it and I got what they were trying to do. I understood, for the most part, So when it comes to mixing of a song, I do not care. I legit don't care. I don't think I've ever listened to a song and thought, oh, they should have turned this up or they should have made this longer. I usually just listen to it and go like, oh, I am noticing that this thing is louder than I, Omni, would have EQ'd it as, but I, Omni, did not make this song. So, and that's great, because if I made every song, music would suck. Umbe says, like, some of my tracks are mixed a way I know most/some people won't like, but it's the way I wanted it. Absolutely, Umbe. I do understand now, though, why some tracks are mixed a certain way. Oh, yeah. Hmm. Yeah, it's interesting. It's very interesting because I think I mean it's just selflessness is maybe the wrong word, but it's like an attempt because you can never really completely remove yourself from it, right? Like it's really hard to completely disassociate with anything that you're perceiving. But I try to remind myself like, hey, some of the dopest things in the world are not what would have done, if that makes sense. Some of the coolest things I've eaten, I have asked the person what they did, or I've gotten the recipe, and I think to myself, I would never put blank in blank. But I'm glad that this person did because now this is a thing I love. One of the dopest meals I've ever had, you know? Or with songs, it's just like, oh my god, I would never think to do that, but wow, this goes hard. And now I'm inspired by this thing that I would have never have done. So I try to, when listening to music, I try not to do that. I try not to do the, this is too loud, this is too quiet. However, um, there are some pieces of music by artists who I've mentioned in the stream and not mentioned in the stream that I just can't get. Like, it's hard for me to get anything out of them. That's when, unfortunately, I do need to like step away from a piece of art. Like if I'm watching a TV show and I'm just not getting anything. That's like when I talk about Naruto. When I have talked in the past, anyway. The reason that I don't like Naruto and I didn't finish it is because I wasn't getting anything out of it. I wasn't getting invested in the characters. I wasn't getting enjoyment. I wasn't getting amusement. I was just kind of witnessing this thing that I wasn't enjoying. And so eventually I had to tap out and just go like, this is not for me. This is not for me. I'm out, guys. I'm out of here. And then everybody, not everybody, but like my weebier friends were like, I can't believe, what? Oh my god, it gets so good, man. It gets so good. And I was like, I'm sure, maybe, but I can't, um, I can't do it anymore. I just do not care about any of these characters. And there's so many episodes about people I do not care about. But the thing is, we've talked about how maybe it hit me at the wrong time, hit me at the wrong time. I think I needed to be in a different mental space to like Naruto when Naruto was big. The first time I heard it, I thought I was entering the pearly gates as Eddie, talking about like the way, oh yeah, Beyonce vocals on Pink and White. I'm trying to think of something that did that to me. There have been some vocal arrangements that have done that same thing to me, Eddie. Absolutely. Just can't think of any off the top of my head. I also think Dragon Ball Super looks ugly, so I haven't bothered with that either. Hmm. 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 Leona Build and Naruto. Dragon Ball Super I didn't watch because I like Dragon Ball like what feels like 500 years ago, and you can't make me watch that now. I'm sorry, you can't get me to watch that. You can't get me to watch Dragon Ball. I, by my own admission, only liked Dragon Ball because my brain was bad. Um, Dragon Ball Dragon Ball was just a lot of fighting, and it hit me at an age where that's all I cared about was fighting, and I just wanted to see people fight, and I wanted to fight people. But I'm just no longer there, and I can't watch Dragon Ball Super. It has nothing to do with whether it looks good or bad or how the animation is. It's just I'm not in the right place in my life to consume Dragon Ball media really anymore. Now, I did buy Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, that video game, mostly for nostalgia because it covers like all of the anime episodes I did watch, and I was like, hey, this was the Dragon Ball game that I've wanted. I've wanted that specific Dragon Ball game for I don't know ever since I first saw Dragon Ball Z. Like I've always wanted that game, so the fact that I got it was like cool. I guess I'll buy it now. And the same way that I always wanted Kingdom Hearts 3, and even though it came out years after I wanted it, I was like, I guess I'll get it because I wanted it at some point. The original Dragon Ball seems so full of life compared to Z. For sure, because Dragon Ball has an actual plot, and like, oh, I don't want to like dog on Dragon Ball Z. But yeah, Dragon Ball has more attention to characters, I think, and more of a plot. While Dragon Ball Z feels more just like an ongoing battle. Always a battle. Dark says there's so much talking. I watch Hunter x Hunter, and I will never watch an anime with a comparable amount of talking ever again. Strange enough, the new Digimon looks really good for a Toei show, says Alpha, because Toei's animation is usually terrible. That happens a lot in a live chat, says Diz. Anywho, I will say. I think that is the only thing that I usually judge art on at the core, right? We can say like, oh, I like this solo, or oh, this song's so fast, or oh, this song's so slow. But the song has to like elicit something from me, and I feel that way about all art. Paintings, like if I look at a painting and I go, whoa. For example, there's at the LACMA, there's this really cool sculpture, like a statue of Satan, Lucifer, whatever. Anyways, there's a statue of him, and it's beautiful. And this, I'm not saying this to be like divisive or anything, like it's Satan, but like it's a really beautiful. It's supposed to be Lucifer when he was an angel before he fell, and it's just like he's gorgeous, and it's an amazing statue. And I remember seeing it and going like, whoa, who is this supposed to be? Is this like a Greek god or something like that? Like, what is this? Who is this? And I read the little blessing, and I was like, oh my god, that's Lucifer. Amazing. This is, I can't imagine somebody making this. Because it's extremely detailed, beautiful piece of something. And so I saw it, and it made me feel something. But I passed a lot of other statues that didn't really make me feel anything. That doesn't mean that they were bad. It just means that they didn't elicit a reaction from me. And this is why I didn't like Naruto. It didn't really elicit a reaction from me. Oh my god, I was talking to somebody yesterday in the park. Okay. I was talking to somebody yesterday in the park about video games. I realized I'm a little bit more lax on video games than they are. They're very hypercritical on video games, but they're video game developers, so I feel like being a dev comes with a little bit of that, a little bit more judgment, in the same way that maybe being a musician makes you judge music a little bit harsher. So we were talking about video games, and we were talking about the term replayability and how neither one of us like that term. A lot of games are judged off their replayability when we're talking about quality. Like, can people play it again? People want to get, their $60 worth. They need to be able to play it for at least, 50 plus hours, or else it's a waste of money. And I have never been a fan of replayability. I always think of games that need me to keep pouring time into them as actually being not so good. I should be able to get a story out of it and then never want to touch it again. For example, Red Dead Redemption, I never want to touch that game again. Beautiful game, never want to touch it. Same thing with Red Dead Redemption 2. Beautiful game, probably never going to pick that game up again. Grand Theft Auto 5, I haven't played, even though they have like an online thing just like Red Dead. There's a lot of games that were amazing that I don't really want to touch again until maybe I forget the story and I can do that again, but I don't want to play it again. I like experiencing new stuff, kind of like Eddie says. And so, but that wasn't the case when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I was just bored and I needed something to do. So there were a lot of games that didn't have quote-unquote replayability. It was the same every single time you played it, but I played them over and over and over and over. I played them in front of my sister. Me and my sister played them together. I played them in front of my big sister. I was just playing games because there was nothing else to do. There was no replayability. I just didn't have any alternatives. And so I think that when I was a kid, I used to be able to watch things just because they were a thing to watch. I would play things just because they were a thing to play. I would listen to music just because it was music to listen to. I would make a lot of decisions based on them being there, whether I could be occupied with them. Now that I'm older and my time is a little bit more valuable, I don't just give my time to things anymore. I can look back on a lot of cartoons without nostalgia, right? Some old cartoons that I watched, I thoroughly enjoyed. I actually really enjoyed the cartoon Pepper Ann. That show's I mean, I don't remember one plot line from it, but I remember it being like pretty good. Arthur, guys, Arthur from PBS, that's a good show. It's like just a good show. It's just good. Now compared to maybe something like Pinky and the Brain, which was also a good show, but Pinky and the Brain was built a little bit differently, where it didn't feel like I was consuming a story. It kind of just felt like stuff was happening. I could watch 8 hours of Pinky and the Brain, and nothing would actually change or evolve. Characters wouldn't change or learn new things. It was just kind of entertainment. And I couldn't watch that show again today, even though as a kid I loved that show. So things changed now that my time is more valuable. And if I got into Naruto when my time was not as valuable, I probably would have loved that anime. Honestly. Because I loved Dragon Ball Z. And somebody can make an argument that Dragon Ball Z is not even as good as Naruto, that it's worse somehow. And they'd probably be right. I was just a different person when I experienced the two things. Jville, or JVLE, says, honestly, I feel the same way about Naruto characters. There are some characters I just didn't like or care about. I realized that when I started to watch Boku no Hero Academia and liked all the characters. You're not the only person that's actually given me this kind of review. A friend of mine who lives over in West Hollywood said to me, Omni, I know you don't watch just anime, and I know you don't like shonens either. I know you don't like anime that go on for a really long time, but I have to tell you, you need to watch My Hero Academia. It is a shonen and it's a long anime, but I'm telling you, the writing's good. The characters matter. Like, you will like it. Have I watched this show? No, I have not. I still have not taken their advice, but I have heard this review several times, so it has to have some credence. Jesus. They're really going in out there. Alva says, Arthur's still going on. It sure is. Dexter's Laboratory. Yeah, Dexter's Lab felt the same way to me. That's the type of show that reset after each episode. Yeah, it's hard for me to watch shows like that. Liana says I gave it a shot, but I don't know. My Hero is actually good. Season 1 and 2, says Crow. I love that the BPM is around 85-90 as a vibe, says Sick Nick, bringing us back to BPM talk. Oh, like Attack on Titan, says Alpha, which I did not enjoy. Rhiannon says, the Trash Man cometh. I don't know who the Trash Man is. Is it you? Is this a joke I don't understand? Did it go over my head? I do not like the shows that expose the same themes over and over. Yes, this can be tiring, a little bit exhausting. MHA is a cheeseburger with good special sauce, in my opinion, says Eddie. Talking about My Hero Academia. Liana dropped it, even though they say it is good. As a reader of My Hero, it's okay with a capital O. I like this review. It's fun to watch, but kind of didn't care for the characters, says Alpha. Everything is solid and surprises you a little bit sometimes. Interesting. Sick Nick says DDR. DJ Max. I'm going to say DDR. If it's an either or question, if you're just asking me which one, I'm going to say DDR. Are you saying DDR Max? My Hero Academia is heavy-handed with its themes, which I kind of expect from any anime, really. But the writing in My Hero Academia isn't mind-blowing, says Eddie. I said Eggy instead of Eddie, says Eddie. Word up. The BPM of Naruto is good. Ball manga, but I'm a bit behind. I heard your garbage truck outside. Oh yeah, he is coming. He's almost here. Naruto made me feel things. Hero Academia has not gotten me to feel that. I don't know why, but it is. Maybe you're in two different places emotionally when you're experiencing the two things. Just like I said, Dart, never write that off. Dart, Dragon Ball Z made me feel things. That sounds hilarious right now, but Dragon Ball Z, when Krillin died, I guess spoiler alert, everybody dies in Dragon Ball Z, but they just get revived, so it doesn't really matter. Krillin dies in Dragon Ball Z, and it, like, really did something to me. But, you know, I don't care when characters die in Naruto. I'm not there yet. I'm not there anymore, I just don't care like I once did. Naruto himself as a character is someone way more worth investing in, to me, than Deku. Oh. Leon's talking about the faces and art style being dumb in the Attack on Titan manga. He's accessible with something everyone can enjoy, but surface level and not too interesting, says Diz. That sounds accurate. As somebody who hasn't experienced it, that sounds like... I mean, whenever anything becomes that massively popular, I have to assume it has some surface level enjoyment without getting too deep. That could be unfair for me. Krillin is the Kenny... it's like Kenny from South Park, says Crowd, which is accurate. Eddie's hot take is that Boruto is better than Naruto as a character. The manga Boruto is still trash, though. Oh, Violets and Daisies. You just have a different username. Sorry, guys, about the garbage truck. I have no control. There's three types of people: Dragon Ball, Naruto, and One Piece. Says Cyber, which is an oversimplification, but I feel you on that. I feel like I know some people that are just like, One Piece is the best thing I've ever watched. Like, you know, I know a lot of those people. So yeah, I'll agree with that. Against enemies, you can light anything on fire, says Star. B-Stars is good, says Chibi Lucy. I'm gonna head out, says Lindsay. Thank you, Lindsay, for being in the stream. Appreciate you. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. Dar's got some pretty hot takes on Deku. No one actually liked Deku, honestly, says Umbe. He's dry and his powers can be better used on any other character in the series. Last comment on My Hero, says Umbe. Word. I think 2011 was my golden year of anime. Nothing since then has really topped my favorites from then. That sounds about right, Liana. Although, Liana, I'm shocked at you. I'm shocked and regularly impressed, but mostly just shocked. Mostly just indifferently shocked. There's this one dude on Twitter who kept trashing One Piece, but then he started watching and instantly loved it. Word. That sounds about right. Naruto and Sasuke have actual problems, says Dar. Deku. Deku's feelings are valid, it's sad. Yeah, but he doesn't really experience anything worse than a normal kid. His own self. Oh my god. This is actually pretty funny. Oh my god, Jesus Christ. Dar has like takes. Dar has like actual takes. Oh my goodness. You can't be a hero without a quirk. Might be able to jump on a bridge. Wow, like dude. One Piece is just intimidating and length, says Chibi Lucy. Is that what you're referring to, Dar? Is that people like One Piece? They're willing to invest your time into it. It's not that people don't like One Piece. It's that you have to be willing to invest your time into it, says Inbay, which is actually a good point. Here's my thing. I still rest. A hill that I will gladly die on. I rest on a hill that is, I love stories. I love concise stories. And I don't think it's possible that a concise story takes hundreds of episodes. Now, this isn't a thing that's specific to anime, right? Because Supernatural is the same way. Supernatural is a show that I actually watched in the beginning, and I was like, I don't think this story is concise anymore. I think that they're just writing more stuff because people like it, and I know how, money works, so why end something that's vastly popular? And that, to me, is what One Piece feels like. It just feels like something that's going on. It's very popular, and I feel like it could have ended a long time ago, but it is not ending because it is very popular and it makes a lot of money. And usually, when there are stories like that, I avoid them. I avoid them at all costs because, again, my time is valuable, and I can't I can't waste time. Now, if One Piece ends one day on like episode, I don't know, 3,500, and somebody makes an abridged version of it that is like, oh, we actually cut out all the things that actually didn't matter, or somebody made a more condensed, compressed version of One Piece that made sense and was digestible, I would probably watch it, and maybe I would even enjoy it. But yeah, I'm not gonna watch that. I'm not gonna watch that. I don't think anything takes that long. I don't think anything takes that long. Arthur is a PBS show for children that's been on the air for a really long time, and it's been on the air because it's profitable, and people like it. But does Arthur tell any concise story? Absolutely not. God, no. I would never die on the hill that Arthur has a concise story. I don't even know that Arthur has really a story. It's more of like it's akin to like a slice of life anime more than it is to anything with a strong narrative. Anywho, I'm not a huge fan of super super long stories, which is part of the reason why I haven't watched One Piece. Yeah, that is maybe the only reason why I haven't watched One Piece. Maybe one of two big reasons. They also regularly prove themselves wrong. Like there's an episode where Deku beats up a guy, and oh wow, we're still on My Hero Academia. So, but Deku beats up the guy, and he beats him with his quirk that he was gifted. I mean, I'm not gonna debate the morality of My Hero Academia characters, mostly because I haven't watched it. That's why Seinfeld ended as it is. Seinfeld is good. I mean, I saw somebody arguing that Seinfeld. They were like doing this whole thing where they were like, Seinfeld's better than Friends. Friends is bad. Friends is bad because it's not funny and it's just a bunch of spoiled white people in New York City complaining about their overprivileged lives. I'm like, that's also Seinfeld. But I didn't say that because I didn't want to get an argument with a Seinfeld fan. They're vicious sometimes. So I just kind of moved along. But I think, yeah, Seinfeld could have kept going. It was so profitable. But it didn't. Nor did it have like a reunion season or comeback. They just ended it, and it's good. They told a story that was concise, and I could even argue that it started running out of steam before it ended. Like it could have gotten a lot worse, but it was already kind of getting like, oh, okay, all right. But yeah, it just ended, and it was cool. I think they could do that with a lot of things, but they don't. Seinfeld is not funny, says Crow. Word. The main defense of One Piece is that I hear from people who appreciate the show is that the show is mostly filler, yes, but the filler is the fun part of the show. I have doubts, but the views don't lie. Yeah, people love the thing, right? People love the thing. But I just don't like filler. It's almost like somebody saying, like, you got to go to this restaurant because the mustard is delicious. And I'm like, I don't really like mustard, so I'm sure you're right, but I'm not going to enjoy it because I know myself. So, yeah, I just strongly think that I would strongly dislike One Piece. You can't throw that much filler at me and expect me to keep watching something. I was very regularly almost whacked with lacrosse sticks as Dar. Talking about they used to play the Seinfeld theme at the end of my lacrosse practices in middle school. Wow. Big Seinfeld fan. Shows like those need fillers to keep the show on air, says Alpha. Seinfeld is funny, Friends is bland. Hard. These aren't takes coming from me. I'm just reading comments, guys. You know how I feel about Friends and Seinfeld. I think they had OVAs, and so it'll be more fun. Catch up. I agree with that take, actually, Alpha, about the OVAs. I don't like Seinfeld, says Dar. I just think the theme song is hilarious. Oh, interesting. I think the theme song's pretty funny, and I also really like Seinfeld. I think I have more issues with people recommending everything to everyone. I have to get to know someone before I recommend anything from them. Not everything is for everyone. Yes, these are sentiments I've expressed in the stream before, Lumbe. They have one before the show started and it looked way more interesting than the show. Don't love condiments, but in general, but mustard is ugh, says Dar. Did you know that the bass in Seinfeld is actually MIDI, not recorded bass? Of course. Well, I should say, you probably were directing that to the stream or the chat. Some people in the chat might have not known that. Yeah, the theme song in Seinfeld definitely isn't slap bass. Um, if you play bass, I should say I played bass. I played bass before I played piano. And anybody who's like actually played bass guitar and then listened to that, listens to the Seinfeld theme song, it's like, yeah, this is clearly like a sound font from a keyboard, which makes it that much funnier. Jaime says mustard is cool sometimes. Basically, the only thing that I'm saying, guys. Oh, those are two different chords. Oh my god! What song is that? What is that? Does that sound familiar to anybody in the stream? Maybe nobody. I don't, maybe it's not a song, but I'm pretty sure that's something. That's an accident too. That was I can't put my finger on it. Oh, I'm glad other people at least recognize it. It sounds like Train Song by the Train Song by Pat Metheny. Oh, I'll have to look that up later, Cyber. Sounds like something a black person made, says Star. That's funny. Oh. That's wild. What are you? What is that? Hold on. Where's my e-piano sound? That's how I'm hearing it. It's giving me Anita Baker, says Dart. It sounds like an intro to a Tame Impala song, says Diz. I'm sure it does, but the song that I'm thinking of is definitely came out like before I was born. Um, God, what is that? Sounds very 80s, like Full House, says Lana. I don't know what it is, but I do like it. I'm gonna mess around with it a little bit later, maybe after the stream. The sound also always makes me think of the Doogie Howser theme song for some reason. Because it was an EP Rose piano. Anyways, that's the reason. It's not for some reason. It's because it's literally the same instrument. Okay, guys. On the since we're finally out of the anime talk, which I'm very grateful for. Thank you guys. You guys pulled us out of that nosedive before I even had to bang the gavel, so I appreciate that. I think specifically on the Seinfeld versus Friends thing. One, I didn't think these shows should even be compared. I understand why they're compared. Both white cast, both New York City, both sitcom, and that is the end of the similarities. At least the overt similarities. There's a lot of like very minor similarities, like apartment building or two of the characters sleep with each other or something like that. I don't know. But I think it's unfair for people to compare these two shows because they are distinctly different. Although I realize that as I'm saying that, if we're going to compare any two shows, maybe Seinfeld and Friends are closer than most shows are, you know? A lot of people like to say Seinfeld's actually funny and it deals with real things, and Friends is just not funny and a laugh track and whatever. Everybody's privileged and they don't have real jobs or whatever. I get it. I get the takes. I would say yes. Seinfeld is darker, mostly due to Larry David. Larry David has a very specific comedic style that I appreciate. Seinfeld. Here's the thing, and I understand how NBC writers' rooms work. I mean, as much as somebody that's not a comedy writer in an NBC writing room working will understand, but I understand how a writing room works. So I will say, I know. Oh. I love thermoses. I love how the outside can get so hot and you keep your cool contents. Anywho, Seinfeld feels like it is the comedy stylings of one man, even though I know it's not. There are co-writers on Seinfeld. Um, it's not 100% Larry David. Larry David even left the show for a second, um, a pretty long second. But we're not going to get into specifically that. What I will say is that Seinfeld feels like stand-up comedy bits, which it should. Literally the main character who the show's named after was a stand-up comic. It has a different comedic style that works for some people. Friends has your very typical writer's room sitcom where there's just jokes flying all over the place that don't feel as consistent in their stylings, but neither is better than the other one, I would say. It's more so two very, very different comedic styles. It would be like comparing British Office to American Office, even though I know they're literally the same, same name, same show. The comedy is very different between the two. They start off the same, First season of American Office did try very hard to be British Office, but then it kind of broke away and became its own thing. And you're allowed to like both. I, I very, very honestly do like Friends. I like that show. Maybe it's because of the age I was when I watched it. I don't know. Maybe it's because now the show has a lot of like nostalgia quality. I actually like that show. I think it's funny. I don't think it's smart. I think it's funny though. I think it's like bare bones funny, and I think it informs. Ooh, ooh, oh, oh. Yeah, Umbe, very good points. Um, I just find myself clenching my jaw every time I watch Friends. Uh, um, oh, and like Curb Your Enthusiasm. Okay. Some of my friends can't even watch Curb Your Enthusiasm. Yeah, I understand some people get like really uncomfortable. They're like, I can't watch Curbed, or I can't watch, The Office, or I can't watch, they get like really strong secondhand embarrassment or anxiety seeing somebody else in weird situations, which is fine, which is totally cool. But I think I think I appreciate both of them. Friends to me feels so much more connected to America. I feel like Friends was very, very heavily informed by pop culture of the 90s, and somehow, in this weird, like, turnaround, it ended up informing pop culture of the 90s, like Rachel's hairstyle, or like people picking up catchphrases or vernacular from the show. It feels very tied into the 90s. Now, that isn't to say that Seinfeld is not quotable and everybody was talking about the soup Nazi and everything like that. I get it. Seinfeld's also quotable, but Friends kind of transcended sitcom and became just like 90s culture almost, while Seinfeld remains its own bubble identity. Think of it like how when you listen to a Kendrick Lamar song, assuming you listen to a Kendrick Lamar song, you probably hear some things and you hear some terms, and somebody might come to me, like my old white ex roommate came to me and said, Omni, what does it mean to freak it? When Kendrick says, and then I freaked it, what's that mean? And I had to explain to him what it meant. It was a very, very small, buttoned, like ziplocked experience for him and me discussing this Kendrick song. Now take an artist like Drake. If Drake says something that does or does not make sense, it doesn't live in hip hop vernacular. It becomes just pop culture. Everybody said YOLO. YOLO isn't even a hip hop vernacular. It's not even pop vernacular. It just is. It just is a thing everybody was saying for a while. And that's not the only thing that Drake gave to pop culture. I mean, there's an entire list. If you want to look it up, do it in your own time. I'm not going to go over it right now. But pretty much every single time Drake comes out with an album, several phrases or words from him just become a thing we say forever after that, Anywho, Seinfeld can have. Alpha says Drake is trash. I hate the way people allow him to do awful things, says Alpha. Seinfeld can have an A, B, and C story, but only one or two of them get wrapped up, and some may not even get addressed. Yeah, this was a very okay. So, Friends is a sitcom with by the book sense. There is an A story, a B story, and a C story, and they get wrapped. Diz, Diz is smart. I didn't want to bring that up. I didn't want to bring that up, but Seinfeld does do this thing a lot. Where hi Keiko, Seinfeld does this thing a lot where the credits will start rolling, and you're like, wait, but what happened to so and so? And it just never gets addressed ever again. And I don't know why they chose to do this, but it is a thing that they do a lot, and it's a thing that sitcoms typically don't do. I would say that Friends is more the typical sitcom. Friends is just, again, this is not my opinion. This is the public. The ratings didn't lie. Friends was like the best sitcom. It was like the best of its type of thing. Seinfeld was this weird thing happening over here. Like when people always said Seinfeld was the show about nothing, it was a show about nothing. Friends was a show about something, and it was really good at being a show about something. Friends could not survive as a show about nothing because it wasn't in its DNA. In the same way that if Seinfeld tried to be a show about something, if it tried to have a point like Friends did, maybe it wouldn't have been as iconic. So that is one of the main reasons they're so hard to compare. Yes, they are both shows about white people in New York City, but that is really where the similarities end, I would say. Hmm. Uh, yeah. But that being said, I thoroughly enjoy both shows. I don't know that if this information is pertinent to the point that I'm making, but I feel a need to say I watched Friends kind of as it was happening for the most part. I remember actually going over to a friend of mine's house, and he had just bought um, Friends, like the final season on DVD, and we watched it together, which was honestly very weird. He was obsessed with Friends. I wasn't like that. He was like, I hope he's okay. I don't know where he. Anyways, point is that I watched Friends like kind of in the culture of Friends somewhat. I watched Seinfeld in 2017. I'd never seen one episode of that show, and I marathoned it from pilot to finale in like a couple of weeks in 2017. So maybe that matters. Maybe that matters in my opinions of both shows. Why I liked Friends so much and I understand Seinfeld. Friends was easy to enjoy as a very young person. Seinfeld, I probably would not have enjoyed that as a young person. I think Seinfeld, a lot of Seinfeld's jokes and a lot of Seinfeld's um, situations become a little bit easier to not only find entertainment and amusement in, but to appreciate as somebody that has lived through them. Friends, kind of, you don't really need to relate to any of those characters. Whoa. Yeah, you don't need to relate to any of those characters. Interesting. Anyways, I mean, I don't think he died, Eddie. It was really weird. He liked Friends to the same degree that Weebs liked anime. He had like weird Friends merch I didn't understand existed. I didn't know existed, and he was just always talking about like whose team he was on, and like he was always talking about it in school, and like he would like not come out and hang out with us because a new episode of Friends was coming on. And he was like, we were kids. It's not like he was like a teenager or like a he wasn't like even somebody that really understood what was going on in the show. I know I sure as heck didn't, but he was like staying in to like watch Friends and like catch up with stuff. It was very interesting. I've never had that for a show in my entire life. I've never, I've never, I've, whoa. Hmm. Yeah, I've never watched a show as it happened. I don't think. I mean, I kind of did that with Breaking Bad a little bit, but even then, man, I haven't really had that. I hope everything was okay at home for him. He was very wealthy, so. Oh, you mean like with his family? I don't know. Maybe they hate him, but I mean, his home was very nice. Why were we friends? There were so many times where I was like in that dude's room. His family had this huge house, and they had an upstairs and a downstairs. And then the downstairs there was like several bedrooms, and his bedroom was like at the end of the hall. And he loved Friends, and he loved Britney Spears. And I just remember like Britney Spears posters and Friends posters. And I remember there was times where I was like in his room, just like sitting on his bed, and he would be like doing like he was like doing like the dance routine. You remember like the Pepsi Britney Spears dance routine? He'd be like doing the whole thing like move for move while like Britney Spears was on like his TV because he had a TV in his room. And I remember like watching him and being like just kind of like being there for it, but like not really participating much. And then like he was rich, so we always got to have pizza. Like his mom would always order pizza, and it was like chill. Like, I would eat pizza and stuff like that. He didn't really like video games, so I couldn't really do that. We just kind of like watched TV shows, and he had like a Britney Spears DVD and Friends. We would watch Friends a lot, and I did like Friends. I did like Friends. Also, he wouldn't talk during Friends, which is pretty cool. I like when people watch TV with me; they don't talk while it's going. Anyways, he was pretty cool. He was pretty cool. He's very yoked now. When I saw a photo of him on Facebook like 6 months ago. Dude's built like a garbage truck now. It's anyways. Yeah, Friends is great. Very yoked, like very buff. Yeah, I guess those dance moves paid off on me. That's weird. I want to I want to dig into that, but there's a lot of memories I have with being with a group of friends, or with a friend, or with a somebody that I was dating, or with a family member where I look back on and I was just like, what the heck was I doing there? How did I get there? I feel like I just didn't know how to say no, and so I just found myself in situations, and I got to experience some pretty cool things because of it. But Jesus, like, I didn't like Britney Spears like that. You like Britney Spears? He like really didn't like Justin Timberlake for a really long time because of like the way their breakup went. And I just remember, that's the thing. I just remember being like, how do you know this stuff? That's why. Yeah, I was kind of impressed with him because he just knew stuff. He was like, oh yeah, so Britney Spears like blah, 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 blah. She doesn't like this anymore, and so like she was at this like salad bar place, and then Justin Timberlake came up and they were hanging out. That's where this like photos from. And then he would like show me like a photo, and I was just like, how like what like how are you getting this information, bro? Like how do you know so much? He just knew, and it's like now I know that like TMZ and gossip magazines exist, but back then I didn't know that. The only magazine I cared about was Game Informer. So it's like he just like knew stuff. And then he was like, Britney Spears is 24 years. Like he like know how old she was. He was like her birthday and her like she's air sign. He would just like know stuff, and I was like, that's wild, bro. Like I don't even know. Like I got like I'm like trying to date this girl. I don't know when her birthday is. You know when freaking Britney Spears' birthday is, man? Like she don't care about us. He like knew stuff. He really knew a lot of stuff. That was cool, I guess. That was pretty cool. Mm, mm, mm. You know what's weird? I didn't like Britney Spears back then, but I kind of do now. I have a lot of respect for Britney Spears now. Britney Spears was the it girl for a long time. True, Alpha. Very true. She was. This says, I remember I had a crush on Britney Spears when I was in grade school. That's kind of fun. I like that. You know who I had a crush on? Vanessa Carlton. Oof, Vanessa Carlton. I don't even remember what she looks like. I think it was just the fact that there was a girl on screen that was driving a piano like a car, and I was like, wow, I don't think it gets any better than that. Girl that can drive a piano. I only appreciated the Britney bangers long after Prime when I started producing, says Umbe. Interesting. I can honestly say I didn't care too much for Britney Spears until the song Toxic came out. And I remember listening to that song and thinking, this is weird. This is not a regular pop song. This is a weird song. And then only after that did I actually care about Britney Spears. Before then, she was just any other pop star to me. Her debut album was my first CD, says Leona. That's pretty cool. I guess the it girl for now would be Beyonce. And for a minute, Billie Eilish. I feel like referring to Beyonce as an it girl is like actually insulting. And I'm not saying that you're insulting Beyonce at all, but I feel like Beyonce surpassed whatever it girl is. I would actually say that Billie Eilish is the it girl right now. As somebody who isn't that plugged into that world, I feel like Billie Eilish is like a freaking comet blazing through the sun. And I feel like Beyonce is more of like a queen on a throne somewhere. That's like position is solidified. I feel like it girls don't have concrete positioning. I feel like they could go away tomorrow, and then they would just be that thing that was popular for a while. But Beyonce, it feels like that window, that ship has sailed for Beyonce. She's just gonna be that forever. I had a huge crush on Brandy, Ashanti, and Angelina Jolie. What an interesting trifecta. I did really, really like Brandy a lot because of the show Moesha. But didn't care for Ashanti, and definitely not Angelina Jolie, but I totally understand somebody for being into them. Beyonce is more of like a royalty status and pop sense. Yeah, it is. That's why I feel. I feel that. Unironically royalty at this point. Yeah, Beyonce's just like there. Um, I feel like people are starting to care less about Billie now. Really? Let's give it a while. Let's give it a while. We're in a quarantine right now. Let's just give it a while. I'm not caping for Billie Eilish or anything. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm saying I feel like Billie's gonna be there for a while. I still have a crush on Corinne Bailey, right? Ooh, sleeper hit, sleeper. We're talking sleepers. We can't do this, guys. It's almost 2 hours and 2.5 hours of the stream. But yeah, Corinne Bailey Ray is it's a thing. That is a time. I also had that. I also had that crush. This says I'm not into Billie's sound. For reasons, I don't feel comfortable sharing my opinions on Billie Eilish. Let's just say I don't want to, yeah. But yeah, I can't say anything. But I feel you, Diz. I feel you. I'm just not gonna share my own thing with that. I don't understand the hype around Billie Eilish, says Eddie. Japanese girls still stand Billie. They do. Liana. Yeah, I can't talk about this, guys. I really wish I could join in on this conversation, but specifically with Billie Eilish, unfortunately, I'm like, my lips are tied right now. Okay, I guess it's like an ASMR thing, says Diz. I don't know, Diz. I honestly don't know. I used to have a thing for Caliuchis, but not so much anymore. Maybe on stream it isn't recorded. Billie is an industry plant. Claro is the it girl for a short time. Oh, we're just talking about industry plants now? Feeling I got excited. That kind of music wasn't at the mainstream to my knowledge. That's Chigaluzzi. Oh, when I heard Billie Eilish, I got excited since that kind of music wasn't at the mainstream to my knowledge. For sure, Chibi. Nothing wrong with industry plants, in my opinion, says Eddie. The Krause says the reason why is because she has a soft voice. Guys are killing me. Claro ain't a plant, though. She just had connections. Oh, God. Oni says, I feel like Charlie XCX is the it girl at some point, but has evolved immensely. Billie is like Grimes level without Grimes. Oh, my guys. Okay. A lot of these artists sound like plain bread, in my opinion. Oh, God. Okay. Charlie XCX is the Beyonce of the intro. Oh my God, guys, please. Why are you guys saying these things? I feel like I feel like I'm being pranked or something. I feel like I'm being punked in my own stream. Jesus Christ. It's okay, Eddie. Oh, Jesus Christ. I will say, oh wow, let me build a very careful. I will say we all know industry plants exist. And I'm not, I'm not, nor, well, that would be a lie because I've done it in the past in the stream. So sometimes I do call out industry plants when I see them. Industry plants does not mean somebody's bad. All it means is that an industry plant is an industry plant. I think that a lot of times people think that by calling somebody an industry plant, you're calling them untalented or not a hard worker. That's not what we're saying well, I'll speak for myself. That's not what I'm saying when I say industry plant. An industry plant, nor am I going to define it here. An industry plant, it is what it is. There's a lot of people in the stream that are industry plants. Just about everybody that has been mentioned in this stream is an industry plant, or at least started off as one, you know. So even if we're talking about somebody that is as big and as powerful as Beyonce, Beyonce has done a lot with her power, but we can't pretend like Beyonce just, you know, rolled up with a mixtape in a trunk in a Walmart parking lot and is now like one of the most powerful pop artists of our time. It's just not how that works. And I've talked at length about how the industry has shifted a lot, especially lately with things like SoundCloud or things even like Spotify. Music streaming in general has shifted the music industry a lot, but plants do still exist. Yeah, Beyonce has been around for a very, very long time. Most of the older acts are industry plants. Yeah, Eddie, thank you. Okay. So, if we're thinking back to Beyonce, not Beyonce, if we're thinking back to Destiny's Child, back when Destiny's Child, because Destiny's Child wasn't even always just the same three people. There was more people in it. So, we're even thinking about to Destiny's Child, where Beyonce was. You just couldn't be a pop star. You couldn't really be a homegrown pop star back then, guys. You couldn't do it. And now, technically, oh man, technically, there's still a lot of barriers and walls there. So when we see somebody like a Clairo or a Billie Eilish or I don't know, a Selena Gomez, I know that a lot of people will say, well, those things aren't the same, Omni. They're completely different. This person has Disney backing them, and this person only has Warner backing them, and this person only has Sony like, I mean, at the end of the day, there's like millions of dollars backing all of the people that I just named, and so yeah, they're all industry plants, you know, and that's fine. You know, that's fine, but I do get a little like perturbed when people claim a plant isn't a plant when the plant is a plant. That's the only thing. Britney Spears was technically a plant too. Yes, absolutely. Oh my God, absolutely. What? Yes, yes. You can't name a pop star especially from like the 80s, 90s. Oh my God, if we're talking 80s, you can't name a pop star from like those times that wasn't a plant because you just couldn't. You weren't going to be able to get music videos on MTV, guys, without a label. Like you couldn't just like submit your VHS, you know, to MTV and they would air it over and over. Like they were taking those from companies. Like companies were submitting a lot of those music videos. Like especially once MTV got a lot bigger. So yeah, unless you had a big label backing, you know, you just weren't going to get to a lot of those places. Now we have things like you know, Vivo, Vimeo, YouTube, where you can like really put out content that you care about. But just imagine like, guys, think about YouTubers, right? There's YouTubers. Before YouTube, the only way to have that type of appeal, you had to get on TV. You had to have a TV show. There's no way you could get on a TV show or even have a TV show without going through a studio, a big major studio like NBC or something like that. You had to go through a studio, which is the industry. The industry is planting you in one of their studios. You couldn't just shoot it in your house and then send it into NBC or send it to, I don't know, TV, send it into TV land and they would air it. You couldn't do that. You had to go through, you know, the proper channels. Now with YouTube and a lot of stuff, the power is being put in the creators' lap where we can release songs without a label. We can put out a TV show or a movie without a major studio or company backing us. We can do those things now, but that's a relatively new thing, and so I think a lot of a lot of the tension between industry plants and independent artists is just because now independent artists have a lot of resources. So now seeing that people are still being planted, it it can be contentious sometimes. It can be a point of contention for sure. That is the only reason. So yeah, all of the old pop stars were industry plants. You can make a very very good argument that the Beatles was an industry plant. You could make a really good argument that hmm, trying to say anything that I think will piss anybody off on the stream, but like all those old people are industry plants. Just how it works, you know. You get groomed, you get signed to a label. The label like has some say in how things are going. You get a producer, you get a manager, you get things, you know. There's a really good documentary about the song "Take on Me" by a-ha and how that song was like stuck in a purgatory. It actually got released 3 times before it actually took off, and it's because they kept getting passed around from different labels. The video looking as cool and interesting as it did was not their idea. They had to hire somebody else to come in who was that person that did videos and animation. Like, industry plants have been a thing for a long time. Does that, you understand that? I would argue industry loved Tyler Says Diz. Ooh. Uh-oh. Okay, alright. Do you like Claro's song Says Crow to Me? I think they're good songs. Do I personally feel connected to them? Do I listen to them in my own time? I do not. They're not songs for me. I consider them not songs for me, but they're good songs. I don't think they're poorly crafted songs at all. Not only that's marketing, sometimes it's the investors who plan the type of thing. This is true, Eddie. Vanilla Ice was a failed plant. Diz, I can make it. No, never mind. Yes, I'll agree with you there. So what would you say about Tyler the Creator or Earl Sweatshirt or Flying Lotus, says Alpha. I would not say that they're industry plants. I would say that they are not industry plants. YouTube plants is pretty funny, I mean. It was more egregious with Billie because she was so young and literally came out of nowhere, says Cyber. But calling people like Beyonce a plant when there's a history of them being working in the industry forever, it's not accurate to call her a plant. Oh. Okay, so both are plants, but no, they're not equal in the same way. In the same way that's if my big sister came up to me when Destiny's Child was running amok on like TLC and everything, and they were like, "These aren't plants." I'd be like, "Yeah, they're plants. They're just plants that have existed longer." Beyonce is a very, very hard worker and does a lot of actual work writing things and choreographing things. Never diminishing Beyonce, nor am I saying that Beyonce and Billie Eilish are equal. That is not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that they both had plant-like origins in the industry. Maybe Billie Eilish goes on to be as prolific and as long-lasting as Beyonce is. No insult intended to Beyonce, but maybe Billie Eilish also ends up going to do that. But it won't change that. She was an industry plant, and that's not an insult. That's not like a. It's not a bad thing. I'm not like trying to insult anybody. These are just things, you know. My definition of a plant is being monetarily backed by the industry, says Eddie. Alpha says, "Who's your closest music friend that you?" I don't really have close music friends that are plants, so I can't really name any people. Alpha. All of my close music friends, like because I talk about them in the stream. Mia Gladstone, Ehi, Bokeh, Mark Rodito. These are like my close music friends. And no, they're not plants. They're just kind of muddling along here like I am. Being independent. The buzzword of plant became a thing on Twitter because of Billie. People didn't really discuss the merits of the term associating with no actual skill until Billie came into the scene. So it's important to make the distinction. I don't think Billie is bad, but I don't understand the hype, personally, says Cyber, but that's neither here nor there. I didn't realize. Okay, so as somebody that isn't like super, especially like now plugged into Twitter, and also not a part of the Billie Eilish conversation, at least on the internet, that is. I didn't know that Billie Eilish was like the poster child for planthood. And planthood is funny. I didn't realize that Billie Eilish was the poster child for planthood because when me and my like I don't know what you want to call them, confidants, co-workers, cohorts. Like when me and my independent musicians started talking about plants, and it really became a point of contention. We were talking about people like Clairo. So this was before Billie Eilish. So I didn't know that that became a weird thing with Billie Eilish. But for people that are new to the term plant, that are have whatever connotation they have with it, it just being Billie Eilish, or it meaning you don't have any talent. I'm not speaking to those people. Um, I'm trying to, in this conversation, mention that plant doesn't relate to talent or work ethic at all. It is basically where you're being backed. That's where your support group lies. An industry plant is supported from the beginning of their visibility by the industry. Now, if you like were an independent artist and you went on for a really long time, uh, and you had a big fan base like Joji, which I know I'm not supposed to mention in the stream. Joji had been a YouTuber for a pretty long time and been releasing songs on their own. Now they're kind of a part of bigger companies, but they were already doing very, very fine on their own, making a living, more than a living, touring, doing their own thing. And so now they're a part of a bigger, like, outfit. But I wouldn't actually refer to them as an industry plant. Most of their fans were made by them and their own reach, off of their own merits. Not because, Capitol Records got their, poster and album and stuff like that playing in an iPhone commercial. It was just because of them. So I wouldn't call them a plant. No. We did talk about 88 Rising last year. We did talk about 88 Rising. I definitely have like my own issues with 88 Rising, but not necessarily for plant reasons, which is the subject of the conversation now. Biz brings up Little Pump, which is also an industry plant. Yeah, it doesn't mean that somebody's bad. It's just, and again, the contention point for industry plants, like I said earlier, is only coming because now you can do it, right? Before, plant was the only option. The only option was being a plant. It would be almost like, imagine being a kid, right? Just imagine for 2 seconds that you were once a child. Maybe you're still a child. You're a kid, your parents feed you, your parents pay for your clothes, your parents give you rides places. It's okay because that's your only option. There's no other way to get rides places, there's no other way to feed yourself, there's no other way to put clothes on your back. Once you're old enough that you can actually get a job and do those things, once maybe you're 25 or 30 years old, if your parents are still giving you rides places, feeding you, putting clothes on your back, paying for all of your expenses, then people start to judge you for it. That is where the industry plant problem comes from. Back in the 80s and 90s, it used to be the only way to get visibility. And so nobody really looked at it away. But now that you don't have to do that there are ways to do things off of your own merits, people will look at the industry plants as being kind of a cheap shortcut. That's where the contention comes from, guys. It has nothing to do with the person not having talent or the person not being a hard worker. It's just where the support base is coming from. Now, because there are options. I hope that analogy made sense. I'm trying the best I can here because I know not everybody in the stream is a musician, especially not an independent or a planted one. So I'm trying to explain that, but I think that makes sense. It's the only reason it's contentious now is because there are other options. You can do it yourself if you work hard enough. And so people not doing that feels away. I always thought the term industry plant had something to do with the Illuminati or something, says Jaime. That's pretty funny. When Joji sings for 88, he mumbles and sounds clinically depressed, says Crow. I'm not going to comment on that. This says, this is really interesting. Why do you think Joji wasn't canceled? Because of the egregious things he said as a Filthy Frank character. I also have really good reasons for that. The internet removed absolutely needs a middleman, which is the industry, says Eddie, which is exactly what I'm saying. Maybe it's too soon. 20 years if he still has a career, maybe we'll be able to get up again, not see the progression. Didn't work though. People, everybody knew already. Okay, so hi, Flame Venturer. Oh, you're in class right now. Joji's music career and Filthy Frank series are completely separate. It says Flame Venture, like just coming in. Flame Venture came in hot. Oh my god. Bye, Flame. I appreciate you. He was a singer-songwriter before he was a memer, I think. Okay, so, bye, Liana. I'm leaving soon, too. That's wild. Okay, so, Filthy Frank and Joji, well, one can make the argument that they are separate. They are both creations by the same human being, which is why people were conflating them together. And that is essentially the whole like separate the art from the artist thing. Except at that point, we're saying separate the art from the art that were both made by the same artist. And so the reason that Filthy Frank didn't get canceled for saying a bunch of egregious things, or the reason Joji, or whatever you want to call him at this point, the reason he didn't get canceled for saying a bunch of egregious things, we talked about this in the past. Cancellation doesn't actually work, or at least it's not morally driven when people are getting canceled. It's because of your social value. So right now, Joji is very valuable to a lot of people. He's very valuable to 88 Rising, and he's very valuable to Joji fans. So we couldn't cancel him. You know, we being the people. I wasn't out there trying to cancel Filthy Frank. I have not liked a lot of those comments that he made as Filthy Frank for years. You know, like somebody said early in the stream, we've been known that he's like that for a long time. In the same way that a friend of his, Rich Bryan, has also said the N word a bunch of times, and I didn't like it when it was happening either. And for that reason, I still am not a big fan of his. But because these two people are very valuable, it's to a large part of the population. It's hard to get rid of them. Think of President Trump. It's the same way. President Trump is very valuable to a lot of people, so he could kind of do anything. He could kill somebody, and it still wouldn't really result in him getting canceled or even arrested, as far as we're concerned. If you're very valuable and people want you around, you kind of get to do whatever you want. Yeah, Alpha brings up Rich Chiga, which was Rich Bryan's name for a long time before he changed it to Rich Chiga, only after being kind of harassed by the internet for it being a racist name. He would have kept it, you know. So, that's my point. Yeah, that's why he wasn't canceled. Flame Ventura came in and said that the two things were separate, but that has nothing to do with it. A lot of people that we have seen as not so valuable, maybe they don't have a big fan group, or maybe they're ugly societally, or maybe we don't think they're that funny anymore. Somebody will bring up a tweet from like, I don't know, 2007 where they said the N-word, and we'll get them out of there like right away. But, you know, people like R. Kelly were allowed to do everything they were doing for decades. It's a thing. It's a thing. It is pretty messed up. I think a lot of people are getting confused where they think that cancellation is almost like a divine order, where if somebody does something wrong and a lot of people scream about it on Twitter, that means anything, but it just doesn't, guys. It really doesn't. You're only going to cancel people that aren't powerful. So think of cancellation as more of like it's like a raid for weak people. It's like if you're weak, you don't have a bunch of stands, you don't have a proper support group, you're not going to survive. But if you have a lot of stands, you'll survive. Think about a celebrity that can do illegal things, but if they have powerful lawyers, it doesn't really matter. You can break the law and you'll be okay. But if you don't have a lawyer and you do even a minor thing, you know, you can get locked up for sometimes decades. So it's not a righteous cause or anything. It's not, you know, good and evil. It's not black and white. It's more so if you're valuable, you'll be okay. 2 days ago, my black British friend said Trump isn't racist, and ICE started when Obama was in office. I had to drop the call. That's funny. That sounds like something that a black British person would say. I mean, the fact that it came from POC makes it more acceptable, too. I don't agree with it just saying, says Eddie. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. I think this thing happens where if somebody does something bad, usually people of color are the ones that care anyway, you know. And so if it's a person of color, it's like a little bit harder to get them out of here. But honestly, if it's a white person, I mean, look at Jeffree Star. Jeffree Star's still cooking, so I don't really know if that's true. I think it's just if you're valuable, you're valuable to somebody. Maybe you make electric cars, or maybe you have like a really dope album, or maybe you can like dance really well, or maybe I don't know, you own a cool food company, or maybe you're just so good looking. Maybe you're just like super conventionally attractive, so people don't want to get rid of you. I don't mean to toot my own horn too much, but could you play a song for my birthday today? Aw, that's not tooting your own horn. What are you doing for your birthday today? Jeffrey has special fans too. True. True things. Oh. Oh, stupid. Very stupid too. Why did it take me so long to realize that this is a super jazzy birthday song? Says Chibi Lucy. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I usually play for anybody that's had a birthday in the stream. It's the only reason I learned it. I can't remember the first person. First person? Jesus, brain's fried. Can't remember the first person I learned it for, but yeah, it's just a stream exclusive, I guess. Okay. Okay. We're at 240. Guys, I have two pieces of music that are officially a year old today. Oh, I haven't listened to them, guys, but I am planning on doing like a Ego Death Quick Breath listening thing. I can make it a listening party where you guys can listen along with me, or I can just listen by myself in my room while drinking some tea. But I do plan to listen to those albums before the year is out, because I would like to be able to reflect on, and this is the thing that I haven't been able to do. I would like to be able to reflect on music that I made over a year ago, to see the changes that have happened. Because usually I'm making music so rapidly that I can't really have a lot of retrospective for any of them. You know, by the time I listen back to something, it's like 4 albums ago. You know. But if you want to hear Quick Breath and Ego Death before the listening party, assuming there will be one, you can hear them on Bandcamp, SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, Google Play, Amazon MP3, Tidal, Groove, Deezer, Pandora, Napster, and YouTube, which we're on right now. I have some Quarantunes, which are just little like music videos that I make for songs. There's 8 of them. They're on my page if you want to go listen to those. Also, still working out any type of rules or whatever for the next pizza party. But just keep in mind that it's still on my mind. I haven't forgotten. But yeah. It's okay to be young and stupid. I'm not young, and I'm still stupid, says Eddie. Yeah. In conclusion, industry plants exist. I've gone through a phase where I thought they were bad. Now I'm just kind of living in a world where I know they happen, and I know why, where a lot of the vitriol for them comes from. But I'm okay with them because I know I don't want to be one. Not everybody can be an industry plant. It does come with its own issues. Like, for me anyway, it would come with issues. Crow says you messed up my favorite song. Crow, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I have earned a swift boo from you. However, Hush Hour, I play it slightly different every time I play it, and I don't know what specific part of Hush Hour you've connected with. But whatever part you've connected with, hopefully I hit it in a future stream. Or maybe if you know it specifically, you can tell that to me what it is, whether it was the rhythm or the bass line or who knows what. I played Celeste for the first time yesterday, says Oni. Music's brilliant. I also like the music from that game. Very good. Quick question. Can streamers play your music on Twitch? I actually don't know. Eddie? Huh. I don't know. I don't know what'll happen if you try to play music on Twitch. After the first part, the breakdown says, Crow. After the first part, the breakdown. Hmm. The four keys. Oh, yikes. Okay. Oh, I'm not against it as long as, like, I mentioned, or you say, if, you say who made the song. That would be nice. Uh, I don't know, Crow. Hopefully I hit it in a future stream. I'm sorry. Anyways, guys, that song's called Hush Hour, which does change significantly with each playthrough. Um, Me and Crow are now talking about something I've done in it that they didn't like. After your first three keys, then the four keys that lead to the breakdown. Dang. I am so sorry, Crow. Hopefully I hit it next time. Hopefully I hit it next time. In the meantime, I guess that song does exist in video form over on my playlist for all of my music videos. Keiko says, I feel like TJ has played Omni in his Twitch streams. Terrifying Jellyfish TJ? Ah. I miss homie. I miss my homies. Anywho, where he says, question, how do you feel about gender-neutral language? I'm a Spanish speaker and find it a bit forced, especially Latinx. I prefer it to be Latinx or Latine or Latine. Feels more natural. I'm not going to say anything about that specifically because I'm not Latin American, so I don't have any say in that. Literally, I'm just going to be dictated. If people say to say Latinx, I'm going to say that. Is it pronounced Latinx or is it Latinx? I never thought about that. Is it Latinx? Hey, anywho, I can't lay in on that. I'm so sorry. However, like in English, they is pretty easy and rolls off the tongue pretty simply. So I usually will default to that. I could try playing Omniboy song in the next stream, and if it mutes the video, I will report back and say whether or not you can play it. Thanks, Cyber. Yeah, because I have no problems with people playing it. I would just prefer for my name to somehow be attached to it. But, yeah, if somebody tries to play it and it gets blocked, let me know, and then I'll see what I can do on my end. I'm always, like, kind of slow with things like that. It's so much rubbish. But I'll figure it out. Promises. A promise has been made. Keiko always misses TJ. Yeah, TJ's great. I've always said they. If I don't know what I should use, same is. Before was widely expected to be a thing. Oh, word up is. Yeah. Head of the curve, baby. Latinx word. Yeah, that's what I thought. Latinx. Sorry. Sorry. I was making sure I wasn't wrong. Okay, alright. Guys, it is getting very warm, and this button up is like it feels like a sweater at this point. So I'm gonna go ahead and close the stream. We have played Hush Hour. I hope you enjoyed it. That marks the end of the stream. Guys, thank you as always for being respectful to me and polite to each other. I'll let you guys know news on the next pizza party when we get a little bit closer to it. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. I will be spending mine pretty much indoors all day working, unless I leave for like pizza or something like that. Oh, guys.